kind of like I was saying before we started, the big reason that a lot of the content didn't get posted was just hyperfixating on quality. So instead of quality driving me to 1,000 followers, I think the goal now is just do 1,000 pieces of content, put in the repetitions, and then through the reps, I'll just naturally develop the skill and get better and find almost that niche.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, right now there's no real plan to the podcast. I got a handful of guests kind of scheduled. I had to bounce around a couple of them. I was supposed to have Lil Jake on today, but he unfortunately had to bounce that down to probably next week. And then an owner of a dispensary, I was supposed to meet with him a couple of days ago, but I had like a nasty flu going around, so I had to
No.
cancel that. But that leads you to be the first guest of the year then.
Let's go. Well, happy
So
2026, Alex.
yes, man,
Thank you for
welcome.
having me.
I appreciate you being on, man. Do you want to do a quick introduction for the guests? Who
Yeah.
is Austin?
So who is Austin? That's a good question. Well, my name is Austin Rudin. I'm a That's the best way to describe myself. I'd say just a creative. Like I have a background in music. That's, kind of what launched me into like the media space was, you make music, you have to pay for studio time, you have to pay for videos, graphics, all these different things. And I didn't have the money to do that. So I learned how to do it myself. And then eventually learned that I could charge for those services, et cetera, and branched into different things. And, so I guess artist, creative director, CEO, I own my own company now. Um, and yeah, a lot of different things. It's hard to put a title. What would you describe me as, Alex? I want to
Um,
hear this.
I mean, it's tough, like you said. I want to partially say like content creator because of all the stuff you got going on there. Um, I always kind of saw you as like a music producer. I still listen to a lot of your old songs to this day. I've got playlists with them and Ian on there. So, um, yeah, just general creative is probably a good way to put it. And maybe that's fits really good to have you as one of the first guests so I can really pick your brain on content and how to find a direction for this because content's always been something I wanted to do. And I mean, as you know, being a part of Higher State Brands last year and even kind of a little bit before that, we had always recorded everything with the intention of kind of blogging or vlogging the process of creating this business. And then
Uh,
it just ended up on a hard drive right next to me. There's like 2 terabytes of just random day to day footage that we did
Footage and
nothing
different
with.
things. Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of glad that when you started asking kind of like, what's the whole point of this podcast? I don't know, maybe pick your brain on that a little bit because it's tough. Like, part of me really wants to do like a cannabis focused podcast, but I know that that's a really niche audience. And then within just cannabis, obviously there's so many different topics. There's the business side, there's the marketing side, the chemistry, the research.
Yeah.
There's so much. I like to kind of think of myself almost as like a pothead polymath that's like a jack of all trades, master of none. And that's probably a good thing for creating content because I can kind of dip my toes in a bunch of different ponds of water. But um, on the other side too, like when I first started creating content, I was probably like 12 and I was creating paintball videos and those are all
Oh
like
yeah.
reviews and tutorials. And I loved doing that stuff. And then I had like a 3D printing channel that actually had a decent amount of following. And that was all just like reviews, tutorials. And I kind of look at the cannabis reviews or tutorials space and it's really I wouldn't say saturated, but everyone is just doing strain reviews. And then when you look at those strain reviews, they're really fucking kind of douchey almost. And it kind of reminds me of like back when I was watching like e-cig vape mod videos, like the type of person that does those.
Yeah.
It
Right.
feels almost like weird. So maybe there is a spot for someone to come in and kind of take the Gary Vee approach where he kind of took the pretentious douchebag nature of like wine tasting out of it. He
Right.
maybe
He made it
made
very palatable for your normal person to listen to and consume, you know what I mean? And that's something, I mean, about, I'm not really going to talk about it with, I have going on with my brand, but we have, over 5 million followers. We got this giant thing going. And that's really what it is. That's where it came from. Like, the way I'm presenting the information is, it's just funny. It's like very easy for people to digest. So, um, tell a little bit more, I guess. It's in the medical space. So especially medical things are explained so boring. Like, who really knows, when people use all these big terms and doctors, like, I feel like they don't even know what the hell is happening half the time. You know what I mean? As
right.
somebody that, I've had a lot of friends that have had issues and different things and just misdiagnoses and all sorts of different shit, right? Um, so that is a huge thing with content all over the place. Nobody likes being sold. You know what I mean? If they feel like they're just peeping into like a normal person's lives, that's why like a lot of these influencers and people that, they just all they do is they're on camera. You're like, what are you even famous for? You know what I mean? It's just they're living their lives, and people for whatever reason resonate more with that than they do like a super highly produced, commercial or ad or thing where clearly they're trying to be sold. Like, if you're watching YouTube videos, let's say you're putting on your 12-hour long rain sound to go to sleep, and you get a fucking ad. Like, what the hell? You're gonna be so mad. Like, it's subconsciously, as soon as we see an ad, we instantly want to swipe. We don't, as content consumers or social media users, like, we don't want ads. That's just what it is. So you have to figure out ways to, again, and that's what Gary Vee has done a very good job of, is selling without like making people feel like they're being sold. And that's where like his language and the way he approaches things and the way that he speaks to his audience, it's like, it's an actual person. It's not just some, robot telling you what you want to hear. It's actual information from a real person, which is, you know, a lot better. So yeah, I think that there's a lot there for you, or like this podcast. Like, I mean, there's a million different ways you could go about it. Like you said, with the cannabis space, it's kind of a weird one. I imagine it's hard to monetize. Like, there's a lot of restrictions on social media, even though they said that they were going to remove them. Like, who knows, like, where it's going to end up in, the next 5 years. If cannabis would be federally legal, and, social media restrictions will kind of fall back, or, the climate will still just be like, if you post about weed, like, you could just lose your account one day, or, it's hard to monetize your stuff or really do something with that audience without selling a product. I don't know, dude. There's so many. I could go on for hours just rambling.
Right.
So I'll do it at this point. But yeah, like, there's a million different things that you could do with the podcast, and topics and directions, and like, I don't know, political versus non-political, or, informational versus funny, all sorts of different directions. It's just like,
Now, here's one for you from like a logistics aspect, because I feel like I want to do it's hard to say because like it's like I want to do it all, but like when I say like the reviews and the tutorials and stuff like that's stuff that like I feel like I want to do almost compelled to do. It reminds me of like when I was a kid doing the paintball reviews. Like it's fun for me to do that type of content. It doesn't feel like work, and I don't even know if it would come across as selling because it might even just be funny, like shitting on a brand if it's bad, or really propping up a good one if it's one I find to like. But like would that be better off on a separate channel or just have it all in one, like the Alex Eckman Canon name and have it all under one account? Because I feel like it's almost dilutes the channel if you have like just a bunch of random reviews and tutorials and like some of it catered to just absolute beginners, like how to roll a joint, what's a bond, what's a different piece of the glass, and then on the other hand, it's like polymer leaching and vape carts and going
yeah.
really nerdy on the science, and then 2 3 hour long podcast eventually maybe with a bunch of random topics too. It just seems like the whole channel is very diluted, or is that almost a old way of thinking where it's kind of like the algorithm's different nowadays and the channel feed almost doesn't really matter?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to say, right? Because like, you could definitely look at it, and I could see how it would be diluting it, right? Because how the algorithm works, you share a piece of content, it shares that piece of content to a certain group of people, right? Like whatever it thinks your audience is at this point, are the people that are most likely to enjoy your content. And then it, tests it. And then if those percentage of people of whatever over whatever percentage enjoy it, react, or engage, or watch a certain percentage of the video, then it's going to test it out to more of those people, so on and so forth. So it's like, yeah, if you were sitting there building, like one particular audience, like, let's say the reviews, right? Maybe your review people wouldn't like the podcast stuff, or your podcast people might not like the review stuff. So like there is, maybe room for concern there, but I think like the best way to do it is to just try to make sure you intersect the audiences that you want to involve yourself with. If you want to do reviews and you want to do podcasting, figure out how to make it palatable again for both those audiences. If people like hearing deep dives and information and that's why they watch podcasts, then maybe you could do reviews where you really dive in, or you do a podcast and you do the review live on the podcast, or I don't know,
Okay.
there's there's no right or wrong way. That's the thing about social media. But uh, another thing kind of pointing towards maybe it diluting, right, is like when something works for you, like Instagram, TikTok, all these different things, they want you to feed that, right? Like that, if something takes off, again, like it reached all these different people, they all loved it, the engagement was high, whatever, on a particular style of content. It you're incentivized like crazy to post that same style of content because like it just, I don't know what it is about it. It just blasts it to so many more people, and I think it's again just that's what that set of wherever you got pushed in the algorithm, that audience, they like your shit, right? So it's just gonna, you want to give them more of that, right? Whatever works, double down on it. So it's like, if the podcast thing took off, right? Like you posted a couple clips from this podcast or your next one or whatever, and it started working, naturally you wouldn't want to just go and dive right into doing a completely different thing. You want to double down on the
Right.
podcast clips. Just do what's working over and over and over and over and over again. And that's, kind of the game plan. That's what everybody does. Think about Mr. Beast, right? Like biggest social media person probably ever, right? Like especially on YouTube at least. He does different versions of the same thing. It's just a different challenge. Stay in this hospital for, a year and get healthy, or stay at this gym and get healthy, or, if you can live on this cruise ship for yeah, whatever, then you're going to win the cruise ship. Like it's
Yeah,
just
it's
the
just
same
going
thing. It's just
bigger and bigger
repackaged
every
on
time,
media.
doubling down literally.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, again, there's no right or wrong answer though, I think.
That's what I'm excited for because I think like I know that monetizing is everyone's like dream when they're trying to put out content, but I know also on the other hand, in the cannabis space, one, it's hard to get monetized, and two, even if you do, your like dollar per click or whatever metric you want to put on there is usually a percentage of what most other person gets because there's not as many companies willing to pay for those views on these platforms. So YouTube pays like where Mr. Beast might get 10 cents per X amount of views, a Canada account might get 1 cent per the same
Right.
views. So
Yeah.
I almost look at it as just putting out content is a way for me to just kind of get my thoughts out there at scale and at mass. And it's kind of just like personal branding at scale. And the more people that know about, I mean, not trying to say like from an egotistical standpoint, but know about me, then they're more likely to hire you or work with me in the future or stuff like that. So it could lead to potential job opportunities,
No,
or I'd love to get into
100%, especially when
consulting
they
and
get a
stuff.
glimpse into like your personality and like how you
Exactly.
talk about things. I've always said about you, I love how you talk about cannabis chemistry and all these different things, right? And hearing you speak about it, like you could see a post or something like that, and I don't know, like it just doesn't quite translate until you see it in person, and like
Right.
you're asked a question and you answer it and know what the fuck you're talking about, and like it sounds like gibberish to me because it's again super non-palatable terms to me. And then, but yeah, I think that I don't know, dude. Like, here's the thing about the monetization aspect as well. Like, my brand is not monetized as far as the views. We don't make shit from views.
Mm,
Um, we have a couple different accounts, right? The doctor and then the finance guy. And the finance guy is the only one that's monetized, and that's only on Facebook.
okay.
Actually, I take that back. The doctors TikTok is monetized too, but we don't make shit. It's like fucking $150 a month or something like that.
Gotcha.
Facebook is a little bit better. Like I think we have like 200,000 followers or something like that. And I don't know. It's hard to say. It's been a while since I looked at the specific analytics or average views or whatever. But I think so far, I mean, it's only the fourth. I think we made like $1,000 so far or something like that.
Damn.
But I don't know. I I think it was it was like the last week of, I don't know what
Still,
the fuck it was, but yeah. So like the monetization aspect from the views like really doesn't matter that much if you can sell products, right? So like how we make money is doing brand deals, right? Like you work with, I mean, we worked with the biggest beef jerky company in the world, right? As a doctor, like talking about how vegans suck and like if you're a vegan, you're a
that's a good
pussy,
one.
like different. They're just making a joke about it. And yeah, like they paid us. There's a video that probably took me an hour to make that was $5,000. You know what I mean? And that's no, it doesn't matter what the views do. It doesn't, it didn't have to even get posted on our account. They posted it on their account. Um, and monetization just is kind of out of the equation at that point. It doesn't really matter if you can move an audience, right? So at first, when I first started, um, well, just for lack of better terms, the company, I guess I'll say, right? We did a deal with this company called Coconut, right? And they're like a online brain rot education platform, perfect for us. In 3 days, or no, from three posts, I think we took 3 days out of a week and we did three different posts. We moved 80,000 people over to their page. They got
Damn.
80,000 signups, right? And that deal wasn't structured to work out for us because it had a free trial. We got a percentage of the paid subscriptions and everybody just used the free trial and we didn't
Hmm.
get fucking paid really anything. But then we moved 80,000 people over
Yeah, that's crazy.
to their shit, right? And like that's a massive number. If you can do that and sell a product or again, just do brand deals for different companies, like I don't know if what companies, I guess, like maybe I don't know, like what are you smoking right now? What is that?
Oh, this is some just Distro 10. This is some cheap ass wax. I would
No, but
not support
what is
this
is a
company.
Puffco?
Oh yeah, Puffco, dude. I
Yeah,
would
so
do a
right,
Puffco brand
Puffco.
deal in a
Right,
heartbeat.
exactly. You know what I mean? Like imagine you're on a podcast and you're doing a bunch of views and you're like, hey, Puffco, you know, either sponsor me or pay me cash to smoke a Puffco and talk about it on the podcast, right? And they'll even get the guest. We'll send the guest one and
That'd
he'll
be
smoke
cool.
it. And you know what I mean? Things
So,
like that. And that's kind of a way around the
mhm,
monetization route. You know what I mean? It's not end all be all. You have to monetize your
right.
views. Yeah.
And I don't even know if I would go with that route. I mean, I'm sure maybe someone listening might take that idea and run with it, but for me as a researcher and a chemist, you almost have to have a sense of objectivity. And I know, granted, like Puffco is not really related to any of the stuff I'm researching now, but who knows if I ever do a Puffco study in the future, then you kind of have that almost like, I wouldn't say it's like a conflict, but how much does it remove your or impart any biases and stuff like that. So, and I know there's like scientists like Dr. Andrew Huberman that do just fine and stuff like that. So maybe you just gotta look to how they do it. But um, yeah, if one of those come, it'd be interesting. But I wonder how I'd handle that as a chemist that still has to kind of remain impartial due to like the research side of things. Like if you're
Right.
doing
So
a
you're
research
saying like
study,
if you're claiming that you're
like let's say I do a research study in the future that's a continuation of my polymer leaching and vape carts, and I want to
right.
do one that compares vape carts to a Puffco and
Hmm.
see if there's any metal leaching or any metal in the vapor of the Puffco. And Puffco sponsors a couple of videos. How does that come across from objectivity and like
Well,
remaining impartial?
so as long as I think if you did that test, you'd probably do it first. So make sure that there isn't anything like
Right.
legitimate, you know, wrong with it. Like you don't have any leaching or any of the issues that you have with the other shit that you're concerned about. And then you can be confident, like, hey, yeah, Puffco's great. You know what I mean? Like now you can tell your audience about it and not feel as bad. Because
Right.
here's the thing, like when it comes to selling products, like dude, Tucker Carlson, I fucking used to hate that guy and he's came a long way, right? Like I don't always agree with everything that he has to say, but him, for example, like his podcast, he'll just like randomly throw an ad in there about dog food or something. He'll be like, "This is my dog Lucky. He is the
Mm.
American hope, dream, whatever." And like, uh, is I feed him all natural American made dog food, and it's just like this whole thing. Like people aren't mad at him about that, and it
No,
doesn't
no. I guess I
really
was
like it doesn't harm his brand because it's like as long as it aligns, right? Like if you're not selling them, you're not telling them to go get the carts that are leaching,
true,
right?
true. I guess it was
Uh,
more on the conflict of interest from like the peer-reviewed side, the researcher side. Like when you submit to a peer-reviewed journal, obviously you disclose if there's any conflict of interest, so you would state in there. But if any of those people would have any issues with it, I mean, I don't think so, as long as you actually remain impartial and are honest in your research. But that was like my one thing. I always knew, like, if a brand deal came down the road, that I'd have to be really selective with that to one, uphold your personal image and not support like a shit brand, but
yeah,
two, also remain objective. It's if it's a potential research study down the road. But um, yeah, I mean, I really just want to create content. One, because I like educating and teaching. I like talking about this stuff. Like even this right now, it feels like fun and enjoyable and not
yeah,
like work or anything like that. So, and I've had podcasts that feel like work. So,
yeah. Now I know you
um,
need, yeah,
plugging my laptop in, but I'm just like looking forward to creating a ton of content. And if I'm able to get monetization from views or brand deal, cool. But really, I think the pay money side or payback of it really comes just from increasing that personal brand. I know, like, because I was creating content, that's how I got asked to do that speaking gig down in Chicago in September. So definitely want to try and do more of those next year. And like starting to get recognized at cannabis events is something that has been happening more and more. And it feels so fucking weird.
yeah,
Like being called out for like good things. I guess I'm
yeah,
always used to be known for not so good things. So I don't know. It's like, it's cool. I think even if no money comes from creating content, that's really the reward is just getting your name out there. And
yeah. I
ultimately,
mean,
like, there's not a lot of content on cannabis unless my SEO is just like not delivering me good stuff. But like when I do it, just a basic YouTube search for like cannabis podcasts and stuff, I get like dog shit results that come up.
yeah, yeah. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I feel like it is probably a relatively small space. I mean, especially being still working its way out of the taboo, you know what I mean? People are, you just now have, middle-aged suburban mothers taking gummies instead of Vicodin, right?
Well,
So,
yeah, and drinks too. Drinks
yeah.
are being huge. Like our generation as well, we're drinking so much less alcohol. And I think partially because you have drinks like cannabis drinks or kava drinks starting to infiltrate the market. I don't know if you
Yeah.
fucked around with any of those kava or kratom drinks, but those are interesting.
Yeah. No, I've seen a lot of them. I have a couple friends that they like it a lot. It's kind of like an opiate feeling, isn't it?
Um, it
Or it
depends.
depends
So
on like
like
the strain
the
or something.
kratom one, yeah, I would say for me, I can't do the kratom drinks because the active ingredient in that's called metrogenine, and that makes me just super nauseous. So I'll just puke
Yeah.
my brains out. But I do very much like a different kratom product called 7-hydroxymetrogenine. It's
So that's the
essentially
one
like,
yeah, I see
yeah,
that all over the place.
it's a much stronger one, and that one it binds to the opioid receptor. So the opioid receptor is the one that kind of gets you the buzz and gets you a lot of the pain relief. It binds to that like anywhere between 12 and 30 times is what I remember reading, stronger than morphine. But
Yeah.
the nice thing about it is it doesn't have what's called beta arrestin activity, and that's what essentially causes you to stop breathing in an overdose.
Mm,
Without getting too into the medical side of it, because I
yeah.
don't really know too much of that myself. But from what I do know, it's very, very hard to overdose on it, and you get a ton of pain relief. And I had quite, I would say, a full blown addiction to that 7 ohm for a while because it is very, very addicting. And like on
Yeah.
Reddit, you can see there's so many people that have a hard time getting off of it. And I think, I mean, I got nothing to hide, but I'm just like, I'm trying to think because I used to be on opiates. I was prescribed Norco. I would get 90 of them a month. So I'd take it 3 times a day. And then after that, the pain clinic put me on Suboxone for a little bit. And this was
Mm.
for chronic back pain and neuropathy pain. And getting off of the 7 ohm, I would say was probably harder than getting off the Suboxone. And
Really?
that was a fucking bitch to get off of. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a place for 7 ohm if you're like an extreme chronic pain patient, you're not getting relief from anything else. Myself, like obviously I see the downside of addiction because I've been there but in the past, but I also see some of these people may call it an addiction, but it's more like just a dependency. And
Yeah.
there's a difference there. So like yes, you will become dependent on 7 hydroxy if you're constantly taking it, and you will get horrible withdrawal symptoms within like 12 hours of your last dose if you don't keep maintaining it. But if you can afford to maintain it and like it's not causing any actual health benefits or like uh benefits in, or causing any damage to like friendships or work, then like there's nothing wrong with living pain free. And the 7 hydroxy offers a lot of the pain benefits that actual prescription pain meds do, but it doesn't come with as much of the side effects. You're not going to overdose on it. There is a
Yeah.
ceiling dose where if you take more, you're not going to get any additional like effects from it. So there is a point where like taking additional doses isn't going to do anything. Um, sure, nausea is a common side effect of it. I used to puke a lot from it, but that's a dosage thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can get a lot of euphoria from it. People call it gas station heroin for a reason.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
But is euphoria necessarily a bad thing? If you're someone that literally cannot get out of bed because you're either just so down in the dumps or just in so much pain, well, now I feel good. I'm not in pain. Sure, I have to take this every 12 hours, and it is really expensive. It's like 75 to 150 a gram, and if a lot of these gas station ones, fucking, that can get way up there because the capsules are usually underdosed and just exorbitant and expensive. That's why I don't do it anymore. It's just can't justify the cost as someone who doesn't have a job right now.
Yeah.
Like a gram would last me a month, but that's still $75. Like, yeah, maybe in the future I'd dabble with it, but I'd have to be really careful knowing how addictive it is. But I don't necessarily see it as something that's bad. Um, I haven't seen it in any drinks yet because, to my knowledge, it's not very water soluble like the other alkaloid is that metrogenine.
Hmm.
Um, but it does feel kind of like an opiate in a drink. And then kava, I've only tried it a couple times, and it really just feels like a kind of like a diet Molly.
Mm.
Um, I wouldn't say there's any
Diet
like,
Molly, that's funny.
yeah, I wouldn't say there's a lot of visual effects, but there was a little bit of that like oneness or like the empathy type
Yeah.
feeling, a little bit of that warmth in the
Psychedelic feeling,
body.
maybe.
Yeah, and a little bit of body buzz. It felt kind of like a booze type body buzz, but there's a little bit more there. Kava is something I'd be interested in exploring a little bit more, but we just don't have it around us up here. Um, I'm sure you can buy it online, but I
Yeah.
think between the weed drinks, kava, and then kratom, all these drinks is why you're not seeing alcohol really nearly as common as what it used to be.
Yeah. No, again, I never used to see, again, middle-aged suburban moms taking gummies. You know what I mean? It's like a funny thing now, right? Like, my girl's parents, they have friends that, they take gummies every night before bed or whatever. Her dad, actually, my girl's dad, just around Christmas, tried gummies for the first time. and he could not walk.
Really?
Yeah, she had to help him get to the bathroom to brush his teeth before bed, and it was funny. He said, "This is not an enjoyable experience." We're like,
Yeah,
it's
I
different
mean,
when you smoke it. It really is so
yeah.
much different. Like edibles, they fuck me up. Like if I want to throw the day away, if I'm feeling sick, I'm like, all right, I got, it's Sunday or whatever, it's raining, I don't feel good. Like I'm gonna eat some edibles, watch some movies, hang out with the girls or whatever, and uh, I just go to zombie land. Like I'm not a fucking person at all. Where with weed, like I smoke it all the time, you know what I mean? And it's not nearly as uh, strong, seemingly, right? Uh, what is the science behind that?
Well, technically speaking, it's a different chemical that you're getting, and I think one, there's kind of two questions there. So the first one is kind of like, why does edibles hit you different? And then I think another question in there is kind of like, why do edibles hit people different? Because how you might take a gummy could be completely different at the same dosage to how your girl's dad might feel and respond.
Yeah,
And like right now, I'm on 200 milligrams
right.
of
The second,
gummies, and to me, I feel a
I'd
little
be
tingle.
done, dude.
Yeah,
I would
and
be, I'd be
it
finished.
it was always kind of that way with me. So like to answer the first one is it's technically a different chemical that you're actually getting in edibles compared to when you smoke it. So like in raw flower, you have THCA, and that's what the plant makes.
Yeah,
When you put it in a bowl or a joint, blunt, whatever, and you put a lighter to it and essentially put heat to it,
it becomes
that
THC, right?
exactly. So you're
Mhm.
stripping away that acid group, what we call a carboxylic acid in organic chemistry, and you're getting just regular THC.
Right.
Now, what happens when you eat that is the body really, it can't just take the THC from your stomach and drop it right into the brain. It
Yeah.
goes through the liver, and the liver does what's called first pass metabolism. So it metabolizes it. It does what the liver does, and it starts to break that down. And so what you get from that is what's called 11 hydroxy THC. And then that goes to the
Oh.
brain, and that's 5 times more psychoactive than regular THC.
Wow. Okay. I
And
always thought it was because somehow because it was decarbed.
mhm,
You're just eating THC instead of THCA, and that's why it gets you high and connects to your receptors and all that bullshit, right? But I never realized that when it goes through your liver, it actually creates a new
yeah,
chemical. That's crazy.
and so it's kind of funny that we mentioned the 7-hydroxymetrogeny before this. That is technically a metabolite of your liver from metrogenine. But what we
Mm,
do as chemists is we just synthetically oxidize metrogenine, and then we have it in powder form and we take it, and now it can skip that metabolism, and that's how we get that much stronger version of
okay.
the kratom. Well, the same is kind of true for THC. Um, the only difference is like with kratom, you can take the metrogenine and eat it and you'll feel a buzz. With THC, it has to first go through that metabolism. And if you even just eat raw weed, like you mentioned, the decarb, that's not even going to be metabolized in the same route as THC. That's why if you just eat raw weed, you don't feel anything. It's just like
Right.
eating a salad mix.
So real
Now,
quick, is there any amount in raw weed, and we'll get into in a minute. I want to ask you about like THCA products and stuff like that. Is there like THC in the weed, like at all?
yeah, I mean you'll have a
Of course.
minuscule amount, and that's
Yeah.
usually just from natural oxidation occurring,
Hmm.
because
Right.
that can happen through light or improper drying methods. Small amounts of heat can cause that, but for the most part, I'd say like your average flower is going to test 20% THCA and maybe 0.2% THC.
Yeah. Okay. So I have weed next to me right now. I swear, sometimes it'll have THCA and THC percentage. This just says THC percentage, but it's obviously
Yeah, and a lot of
THCA
times,
percentage, not THC.
yeah,
Yeah.
the labs will report THC percent. They'll do the math for you on like what the THC percent is.
Once it's burned and decarbed and
Yeah, and it's going to be a
loses the
different
acid.
number because the molecular weight of THCA with that carboxylic acid attached to it is a heavier molecule than THC. So as a
Okay.
percentage by weight in that whole pack, THCA is going to be a higher percent, but when you decarb it, that's why it could be like 21.6% THCA, but after you decarb it, it's
20.
20%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Because not all of it converted or whatever.
Right. And there's
Yeah.
a formula the labs will do that takes into account that loss of molecular weight that changes that percent. But most of the times, the labs will report one or the other. Um, and that's just lab preference. I don't really know if there's a pro or con to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be state law, but
Right. Yeah, I imagine it depends on the state. Okay, so let me ask you about THCA products then, right? Obviously, they just passed a law or bill or whatever it was that's going to affect a lot of that stuff. Me personally, right? uh Travel a lot for work doing video stuff, so I had to go into had to go to Texas before. No weed, right? You're there for 3 days. What am I gonna do? They have a shop that has THCA. I buy it. I'm like, oh, let's see, because I've dabbled with the Delta 8 and like all that type of bullshit, and it
right.
never actually like did anything for me, right? It just tastes like shit. You're like, what am I even smoking? And so I didn't really know what to expect, but it was just fucking weed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Um, and that's because the hemp bill loophole that they were operating on that you kind of mentioned had changed
Hmm.
recently. The way it was worded was basically it allowed for any product from cannabis with a weight of no more than 0.3% THC. Well, just kind of like how we mentioned, the plant makes THCA, not THC, and it
Right.
makes a tiny, tiny bit of THC. So as long as you don't decarb it, your THCA is technically considered a hemp bill product.
Right.
So states like Texas were able to kind of go in and say, well, this product doesn't have any THC in it. It's all THCA. The hemp bill allowed for various acids and different derivatives of CBD, but recently, as we had seen, that had gotten closed, and I think that people are trying to challenge that, but I don't know if it's going to stick or not.
Yeah.
Um, Especially with THC itself moving to Schedule 3 here soon. Um, who knows what that's gonna do?
Yeah.
But I'd imagine that hemp bill loophole is gonna close in the next year or so. And I'm actually surprised we've gotten this far with it, if we're
Yeah.
being completely
No,
honest.
it's
Because
kind of
like,
ridiculous. Like
yeah,
there's literal I've done it in Florida as well, and it's just a dispensary. It'll be like,
hmm,
a normal dispensary. You walk in and show them your ID, and it's fucking you just buy weed. It's weird,
right,
and it doesn't feel right. So I'm actually going to. I mentioned the Keys, Florida Keys, next month, the 4th to the 9th. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, all right, I don't really know anybody down there. I don't want to be asking around if I can just go to it. So I already looked it up. I'm like, where can I get
right,
THCA, right?
yeah,
And I mean, two questions, right? So first off, there's no difference. Like as far as like it's not like spice, it's not like Delta 8. They're not doing weird shit to it. It's just weed
no.
through a loophole.
I mean, I wouldn't say that everyone's not doing weird shit to it, because who knows if they're doing spray terps or stuff like that to it,
Yeah, of
because
course.
the whole
Outside of that
thing,
though, because
right, the whole,
they do that at the fucking normal dispensary.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the whole thing with the THCA is there's no regulations. Anyone can kind of go in and do whatever. So I look at it as, if there's a trustworthy brand operating in there, sure, I see no problem if it's a state that has no access. Sure, I would rather them go through legal channels like in Michigan. We require rigorous testing, and I know that the stuff that I get from the dispensary is probably good. Now, we've seen that's not always the case multiple times. Actually, we've had issues with that. So I would say that, take a look at your product before you buy it. Like, you've cut, good weed.
yeah,
I mean, we can edit this out if we need to, but like, it's kind of funny that you're asking me weed questions, but I I mean, I know I've said this a couple different times, but you
Yeah.
were my very first weed dealer, like
Yeah.
many, many moons ago.
Yeah.
And if you need that edited out, just let me know. But
No, no,
like,
no, that was years ago.
um,
Clean
yeah,
cut
so like
now. I
we were
don't
way past statute of
track no.
limitations on that. But
Yeah.
yeah, like, um, good weed, so
Yeah, of
put your
course.
nose to it, put your eyes to it, and outside of it being adulterated or sprayed or anything, no, there's no difference between THCA from a plant that's grown in a licensed market that's marketed as THC
Hmm.
or, what you could get in any of those shops down there.
Yeah.
The plant only grows THCA, and it's not until we put heat or lighter to it that it becomes THC.
Yeah, and that makes me super happy.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
it's
and
good.
so this was the second part of my question, right? I wonder, so what do you think, right? Like you're in Florida. I'm gonna say you. I'm gonna say somebody else. Somebody is in Florida because I'm about to go to Florida and I don't want this to happen. Uh Somebody's in Florida, they go to one of these dispensaries, they buy some THCA weed, right? They're riding down the street, maybe they open the bag, it smells like fucking weed, right? They get pulled over, smells like weed. Cop has, plausible cause to search the vehicle. He finds this weed that you just bought from down the street. Where, like, where does that fall? Where do you think?
Ooh, so I mean, what I want to do is I want to pull up real quick the script by Pop Rose at Law.
It'd be hard to imagine that they could take you to jail, but it's also hard to imagine that a shitty cop wouldn't, you know?
So I should know this because it was actually an exam for one of my cannabis business classes. But there's two lawyers, they're older guys, but they're really cool. I got to meet them in Vegas a couple years back. Pop Rose at Law, and they've got this little script. I've actually got a wallet card and
Yeah.
a
No,
sticker
yeah, I
in my
was there with
car.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what you say is, why do you pull me over? I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained? And if you're being detained, you invoke the fifth and then you shut the fuck up. That's kind of like their whole claim to fame in their script. But really, outside of that, like the legal defense of that would be the hemp bill currently allows for any product under 0.3% THC. You bought that product from a hemp shop that had tested it to the best of your knowledge to be under 0.3% THC. You can't guarantee that that test isn't perfect. So if it is hot, that's on the test or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know whose liability that would be on, but ultimately it's a legal product because like the hemp bill allowed for it. Now,
Right.
hemp bill's changing in a year, so the time that you get pulled over is going to play a
Matters.
factor into that.
Yeah, of course.
But ultimately, I don't think it's going to be an issue. And really, I think cops, they have better things to do. I think at the
I hope so at
worst
this point.
case,
You know what I mean?
yeah, the worst case, like they don't want to go to court for that on their day off. They know that you, as a traveler, probably are not going to come back to fight that. So it's probably just going to be they'll take it or throw it away, most likely, or
Right.
send you on your way. I mean,
As
it's
long as
best
I'm
to
not
obviously not
committing
let them
other
find it.
crime or something.
Yeah, yeah. I would just say don't let them find it in the first place. Just hide it really good or
Yeah,
consume it quick. And don't give them a reason to pull you over. But
of course.
yeah, it's a legal product as long as it doesn't have below or above 0.3% THC. And that loophole also goes for like gummies and drinks too, right? You can have 100 milligrams, but if your thing, like this water right here was 12, no, this was a 36 fluid ounces. I mean, 0.3% of that would be well over 100 milligrams. So technically, I could put 100 milligrams of extract in this, and just the weight of the water puts it at that 0.3% by weight.
Hmm.
So just because you have a heavy, big brownie with a tiny bit of THC in there, now you're technically legal.
So now
So
with that, like I could see some way, right? Is there a way to get around, like you just explained, like you could take that water, put extract in it, and now by weight, it's, a legal percentage. So could you take gallons, barrels and barrels and barrels of that, ship them to another state where whatever, put them somewhere, and then somehow extract that back out And then like that's like a I don't know. I see just a million problems if they're trying to there's just a lot of weird laws, I feel like,
I
right?
mean, yes, but you're adding a lot more work to yourself because the
Right.
THC is already
Well, and
such
so
low
that's my next
percent.
question, right? Like, okay, so technically isn't like all weed legal then, like under this
Yeah, yeah,
loophole? Like even if you didn't buy it from the dispensary, let's say they took you, you went to jail for it, whatever, went to court, can you argue, well, this is THCA?
yeah. I would say like for all intents and purposes, the hemp bill legalized cannabis in 2018.
Mm,
And that's why there was a push to redefine the hemp bill recently because they wanted to close that and then give the powers back to the states to kind of regulate it how they see fit.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing that I never understood it. I'd seen again through my travels just weed shops in super illegal states, and you feel like I feel like Texas would cut your hand off for weed. Um,
They used to, yeah. And
yeah.
then they saw that there's money in it.
Mhm. So do you think where do you think like this is a general basic question. How far are we from like federal legalization? Like, Trump's mentioned it. Oh, well, they dropped it to two
To
schedules, right?
schedule, well, Trump
It was
basically,
Schedule 1, now Schedule 3.
nothing's been official yet. He
Okay.
basically sent a memo to the DOJ and said, hey guys, you need to put this as a priority. Let's get this to Schedule 3. And
Mhm.
so he greatly accelerated the process. But as of right now, it's still technically Schedule 1. We know it's most likely going to Schedule 3 soon, but we don't know how quick that is official. And really, I don't know if it changes much outside of a little bit of relief for the operators on the banking side. It'll allow us to have a little bit of easier access to capital. But on the flip side, you don't see a million ketamine companies or ketamine dispensaries. And that's because of how stringent the regulations are for Schedule 3 drugs.
Yeah.
And putting cannabis in the same group as ketamine, I don't think is the best idea, but it's a step forward.
Right.
So,
It doesn't
y-
completely solve the problem.
right.
It's admitting that it's not as bad as they once said, but it doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's basically removing the claim that cannabis has no medicinal use and it causes harm. So now we're in a class that has scientific medicinal proof of benefit like health claims and some degree of abuse potential.
Hmm.
And I don't necessarily think that's the best spot because you're going to have companies acting like pharmaceutical companies in order to really qualify for those banking benefits or tax benefits that Schedule 3 brings. So I think a lot of it's going to be just status quo. Like we've had recreational and medical markets pop up. Over half of the US has a medical or rec program, and that happened during Schedule 1. So we completely ignored the government's Schedule 1 mandate in the past. And I don't think that going to Schedule 3 that it's going to change any, like Michigan's not going to change laws for our medical and rec program.
Right.
So I don't know if it really did anything. Um, in the end, I think we'll have to just wait and see. Um, to really kind of answer your question, like how long do I see till full legalization? I mean, if it took us this long to get to Schedule 3 and finally admit that we've got some medicinal benefits to this
Yeah.
plant,
Right.
who knows how long it could be for legalization. But then again, it is such a political hot topic that people are going to run on it. It could be as easy as the next election cycle. Obviously, I hope sooner rather than later. I don't enjoy kind of working around all those loopholes and kind of the BS that the legal status brings. I think the quicker we can get to legalization, the quicker we can get to globalization. And there's a lot of fucking money in globalization. And right now, people are just focused on legalization at the state level or trying to get interstate commerce, which sure, yeah, that'd be good. But I like to even think bigger than that. What happens when we can trade over country lines
Hmm.
and you have massive, massive fields of hemp being grown for biofuels or plastics and stuff like that? I think there's a lot more use cases for cannabis and hemp than what we are just utilizing right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
if we can kind of get off of this bullshit legal kind of status of where we're at now, we can greatly ramp up our research. We can greatly ramp up the production, and that will allow us to really fully monetize this plant to be like the actual like $500 billion industry that it's been quoted as.
Right.
And I mean, it could even go higher than that if you're talking about biofuels and shit like that. So,
Right.
if you want to make $1 trillion crop and pull taxes in off that, I think the US should just stop fucking around and be a leader in that. But, because other countries will follow. Like, as soon as the US goes fully legal, I guarantee you the Caribbean is going to go legal and they're going to start having cannabis tourism in
Mm,
Jamaica.
yeah.
Um, and it's like, why aren't they monetizing that right now?
Right. What
I
is
don't know.
the legal status of cannabis in Jamaica?
I think they've got some medical loopholes. It might be decrim in some areas, but as far as I know, most of the Caribbean is still illegal. I was actually looking at it the other day because uh, the girl and I are looking to move somewhere warmer than this.
Yeah.
And I was joking. I was like, fuck, I'd live in the Caribbean because I've always loved going down there for cruises.
Right.
And there's only like a couple islands that have med programs. And I was like, fuck, man, need to start like elbowing up to some of the governments down there that are a little
Yeah.
bit easy to kind of sway, if you know what I mean,
Right. Yeah.
and lead some
Smaller time
political
folks.
change.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say probably 5 to 10 years.
So what is it about the Caribbean? Like, is it just like stigma culture? That's why it's still strict, or
I think it's just a lot of countries follow in the footsteps of America drug policy and American policy in general. Um, you have bodies like the World Health Organization and the UN that are heavily influenced by American policy. You've got a lot of American interest, and by that I mean dollars, flowing into these countries in different ways that could be against, and it could just be like them following status quo. Honestly, I don't know too much about laws and legislations in America, let alone the Caribbean,
right?
but it just seems like for whatever reason they are very slow to adopt down there. And I know a lot of them are kind of proxy governed by other countries. Like there's a lot of French and British and American influence
Hmm.
into a lot of those countries. So it could just be that they're kind of following a charter or something like that from their closely affiliated country. But I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so you brought up cruises, and that just put a random thought in my mind. Because I looked it up one time. I wanted to go on a cruise. Everywhere I go, I like, check to see if weed's legal or
Mhm.
what the rules are there. And so I was looking into it with cruises, and they're like, yeah, there's sometimes dogs that they'll sniff your shit, and I don't know, all sorts of different things. Learned that they were super strict. And then, like, what is the deal with like international waters? Isn't that like a thing?
It sucks, dude. So like I've been wanting to go on a cruise every year. I keep saying I'm gonna go on one for the past like 10 years. It's been since probably like 2015, 16 since the last cruise I've been on, but they have to follow the laws from the country that they leave from. So if they leave from the US where we're illegal, that means that in international waters they have to follow US law, when they get into the port countries, I believe they have to follow the port countries' laws, which is why you see a lot of the drug dogs when you get off the boat. Um, Now, how effective those drug dogs are, I mean, shit, we're past
Right.
statute of limitations. So I've gotten carts past them. I don't know if I would, actually, once I went down to Mexico, got some brickweed from, I swear it was a Sinaloan cartel member, and there was more weight in seed and stem than there was bud. It was so fucking gross. And I remember I just threw it off the balcony after one hit because I just couldn't even smoke it. And then found a cart from one of the people on board and bought it off them. But you can get stuff by. I wouldn't gamble it though. I mean, they don't fuck around. They'll fucking kick you off the boat at the next stop, and
Yeah.
it's on you to fly yourself home. Like
I
I
would just be
wouldn't want
stuck in another country. That'd be
to.
crazy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, looking back, I don't know why I took that risk to try and I don't know if there was dogs at that stop or not, and each cruise line's different because I know like some are stricter than others. So we were on, I forget which one we were on. I think Norwegian, and they weren't too strict, so we were able to get some stuff on if I remember right. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing that going forward. Like if I were to go on a cruise this year, I would just take a tolerance break.
Yeah.
If I had to, I would say the best bet is probably make some like get an RSO syringe and make capsules. Like you can buy unfilled gelatin caps off Amazon and just make some capsules. The RSO shouldn't have any smell because the dogs are trained off of one terpene. For the
Mm,
most part, as far as I know, it's beta caryophyllene. It's one of the most common
yeah.
ones, and it's also the smell of black pepper. And so, like the
Yeah.
wives' tale of smelling black pepper if you get too high to calm you down,
Ah.
that's because the beta caryophyllene in there.
Yeah.
And so, um, the distillate should just be as much THC as possible, or you could take like THCA Diamond, which has
Yeah.
no smell at all. You're gonna have to decarb it if you want to make it an edible or find a
Right.
way to smoke it, but that would be the best way to go because you're gonna have in THCA Diamond, it's gonna be the smallest mass possible, the easiest to hide. You could crush it up and put it in a fucking empty salt grinder bottle and say it's your special salt that you have to have. You
Yeah.
could put it in pills, say it's a multivitamin or something, and
Yeah.
then put it in your multivitamin bottle. Just make sure that it looks the same.
Right.
Or you could decarb it afterwards, and that decarb, it'll just be like a really sticky goo. You could put that in a cap and say it's like a multivitamin fish oil,
Yeah.
something. But yeah, I wouldn't fuck around with flour. Carts, hit or miss, take your chances. But I wouldn't.
Just go without it for a couple days, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Drink
or
the obnoxious amount of drinks that you're gonna drink on the cruise.
that, or when you get off, like to go to the island, every fucking beach has someone outside the beach selling it. Just smoke on the island, and then
Right.
you're good coming back for a day or two. Like,
Yeah.
don't be that much of a weed fiend.
Right. Yeah. It's hard sometimes. That's
It
like
is.
one thing that's like makes me, we're having a conversation earlier about the rescheduling, right? And I'm like, damn, like sometimes I do feel like I'm dependent on weed. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm addicted. I've stopped, but I don't know. I've done a lot of drugs in the past, but I've never really like, I've always been able to just, I don't know, like never really gotten like really hooked. You know what I mean? Xanax way, way back in the day was probably like the worst thing. Coke was just because I had dabbled and, you know, that's how I made money, right? Um, but like, I don't know, weed's just so convenient. And like a lot of the time, like I smoke backwoods, like I hold this fucking puppy leg. And so it's like how I get my nicotine a lot of the time too. It's like, I don't know, a combination. And I got the vape, which is just not good. So it's like sometimes you, yeah, situations like that, you're like, do I really need to fucking smoke? Am I a fucking drug addict? Like,
Well, I mean, I will
what is
say,
up
like,
with,
you can get psychologically addicted to anything.
yeah,
Like, there's that
100%.
TV
Yeah.
show, My Strange Addiction, and people fuck cars on there. So, like,
Yeah.
uh,
Eat their
I,
grandfather's ashes and shit.
yeah. So, like, outside of that, though, people say you can't get physically dependent on it, and that's true to a certain degree. Like, you're not gonna get full on opiate withdrawal symptoms. Like
Right.
when I was withdrawing from 7-Ohm or from Suboxone, it would be like dripping sweat when I woke up, like the whole
Oh yeah.
bed, like I could wring the bed sheets out, or I would be like almost, I wouldn't say it's a seizure, but like shaking, like
Yeah.
twitching because the restless leg syndrome was so fucking bad.
Did you have bad
Um,
dreams?
I don't remember any dreams because I couldn't fucking sleep for those 3, 4 days, and it just felt like flu, like pukey, you're shitting your guts out,
Yeah.
and so like that's a true like withdrawal symptom. Now, on the other hand, with cannabis, your body has endocannabinoids, and those have different regulatory roles, and there's quite a few of them. So, um, the endocannabinoid system is a very understudied regulatory system in the body, but it happens to be one of the largest ones. So we've got stuff like the skeletal system, the muscular system, cardiovascular system, nervous system. The endocannabinoid system is another one of them. And when you consume cannabis daily or very frequently, your body is going to shut down production of its own endocannabinoids because it doesn't want to put precious energy towards something that you're getting exogenously. So if I
Yeah.
take a rip of this, I'm supplying my body with the cannabinoids or very similar cannabinoids to what my body may produce. Now, obviously, your body's not getting you high, but those do play a role in kind of how you feel in mood and stuff like that. So if you just randomly stop smoking cannabis, it's going to take a day or two for your body to jumpstart production of those endocannabinoids again. And that's why some people do feel kind of shitty or feel like they have a small withdrawal symptom. And that's
Yeah.
just simply because your body's not getting those cannabinoids. The two of them most popular is 2-AG and anandamide. If I want to nerd out on the science of it, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's kind of like, I don't say that weed's super addictive, but there's a caveat to it.
Yeah. No, 100%. Um, yeah, I brought up the dreams because years ago, get in trouble, I'm on probation, stopped smoking weed. The dreams, dude. I've always had vivid dreams. I remember having like night terrors as a kid and like waking up hyperventilating and shit. But when I stopped smoking weed because of probation, that was like legitimately
It's
like the
crazy.
hardest part for me. Like I fucking like there was a couple times where I'm just like when I was a kid, I'd wake up like hyperventilating. I'd have these super hyper realistic dreams where it's like I was there. It's not, you wake up and like it's hard to almost distinct, like you're confused. You know what I mean? It's almost really hard to distinguish the dreams from reality is like, I don't know, maybe silly as that
Dude,
sounds, right? But it's real.
no,
It's 100%.
I've I've had that, and it wasn't from weed. It was actually super high dose Benadryl in the hospital. They IV it, but it was
Yeah.
like 3 days of straight sleep because I was just so out of it on Dilaudid and IV Benadryl and the other nausea meds that they give me when I'm in the hospital. But I had like, it was indistinguishable from real life, only there was like subtle little differences. And like I hallucinated one of my professors owned like an apple orchard right across from the high school that we
Yeah.
attended together.
Yeah.
And like weird shit was just off by a little bit, but it
Yeah.
was like indistinguishable from reality, and it fucked me up from a little bit afterwards because I was like, is this a fucking Benadryl dream or is this real life?
Yeah.
So I
No,
exactly know what you're talking about, but
even to this day, I kind of still, and I'm an avid smoker at this point, but like that's kind of a defense mechanism I think I have for that at the very least. Like, I don't know if I'm just telling myself that or what, but it legitimately freaks me out. I don't want to not smoke before I go to sleep or like even just for the day. Like, I don't need to be high all day or I don't know. Like, I could smoke at 3 o'clock, let's say I'm out of town, I'm busy, whatever. And then it's just like something about having it and whatever it triggers in my brain or doesn't, I don't know. just makes me fucking not dream.
Yeah, I
And
don't know the science behind that. And there is documented science that shows that cannabis stops dreaming, and that's why it's
mhm,
really good for PTSD or stuff like that. So
yeah,
those people that have that condition, they don't have to relive those bad moments in their dreams, and they can get some peaceful sleep. Now, on the flip side, I know that there is conflicting evidence. There's some studies that show it, some that kind of go against it, but cannabis could be bad for sleep quality because you're not entering, I don't know if it's the REM sleep or what level of sleep, but they show that chronic cannabis use, you may not be getting as good of sleep as maybe you should. And I mean, I can totally see that. I sleep like shit, but um, that's where I use cannabis throughout the day to kind of help get through it. Ultimately, I just like to consume all day because I just love to live life with a tingle. Like it
yeah, no,
doesn't
I
fuck me up where I'm like drunk or slurring
right,
my words. I can
100%. Yeah,
function.
yeah.
I'm not, it doesn't put me to sleep. It's just helps with the pain
I
and
think the
live.
biggest thing is like inconvenience for me. Like I don't like having fucking ash on my desk because I'm sitting here smoking this backwood and just
Whoa,
I'm looking at you, you know what I mean? Like now there's ash on my desk. And
puff
it's
go,
and
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Concentrates.
Well, I've been smoking a lot more flower lately. I don't know what. I kind of like ebb and flow between the two, but lately it seems like flower's been giving me a better buzz, especially like a body buzz, whereas concentrates kind of I only feel it up in my forehead and head.
So I
So
kind
it's
of have
weird.
the opposite right now. Right.
Really?
So I have this cart and the other day me and my girl we went to the movies and so I went to the bathroom. I'm fucking it was
Hmm.
a just like a pen. It wasn't a cart, but like a disposable or whatever. And so I was just ripping it in the bathroom. Dude, I was fried. Like it was like a different kind of high, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's because of again how I consume it. I'm like used to the feeling of the weed with the nicotine or whatever. But for whatever reason, it's just so much different. Like I don't even feel like this gets me that high. Like or I don't know. It's also situational. Like it depends because if I'm in public or I'm doing something important and I hit a blunt just like at the wrong time, I didn't eat, whatever, like I just get fried, be in my head and I'll be like, dude, how did I get so high? I'm not supposed to be high right now. I just
Yep.
happened to hit this blunt and somebody had it or whatever. And now if I have to drive, I hate driving high.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. I
Gets
don't
rid of the
know.
road rage. I can just
Yeah.
kind of sit back, relax, put on a podcast or some
I
tunes.
think it's like, it's definitely paranoia. That's why I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
like it. Cause it's just like the worry that, yeah, I could get pulled over and they'd be like, why are you stoned? You're going to jail, DWI or
See, that's the
whatever.
thing in Michigan is they can't, smell is not like a factor for search. So if they smell it, they can't search my car. And there's no way for them to actually prove that I was under the influence because we don't have any established like nanogram limits in Michigan for
Right, and I
D.
had that like weed breathalyzer for a while, and I'm pretty
That
sure
got
that.
pulled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, that got pulled. They
I'm not
they had
sure what it is
lawsuits.
here in Nevada, but I imagine it's the same. They're pretty lax on fucking everything. I'll be going to the airport, and there'll be a cop behind a dude that's passed out at the wheel at a light. The light's green, he's not going,
Jesus.
and looking in the rear view mirror like, oh fuck, he's got him. You know what I mean? Get that drunk ass, and then the cop just goes around him.
Yeah, no, I will say, like, if you're swerving and shit, yeah, you'll get pulled over and stuff. But, like, for me, weed doesn't affect me like that, where, like, I don't become a bad driver and it doesn't affect my
I
reaction
just get
time.
paranoid. I'm like, do I
Yeah,
smell like
and
weed?
that's where it's like there's a little bit of set and setting to it, kind of like with the psychedelics. And I think, I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of placebo effect in there when it comes to the set and setting, that plays into that.
Yeah.
Um, and like a lot of people hate to hear like placebo effect or they think it's not real or it doesn't affect them. But I mean, shit, I just had like the other day, so I was in Ann Arbor and I can talk about this because it's illegal in Ann Arbor, but they had some mushrooms there. And the description on this mushrooms, because it was like a dispensary and it's got like an iPad and you can search through like 50 different strains of mushrooms.
Of mushrooms? Wow,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
that at this point. That's cool.
Mushroom DMT card.
DMT?
Got
I seen
some.
they just they legalized it in like Jackson, like a bunch of
Yep.
psychedelics and
So
shit.
same type of stuff.
Hmm.
Picked up some DMT card, and then some freeze dried peyote,
What the
which,
fuck? You got
dude, it
peyote?
was fucking stupid expensive. So I'm probably just gonna keep it like in my little collection forever until
Dude,
I can
that's super
synthesize
cool. 'Cause
some
peyote, like, have you
rare
ever
as
heard
fuck.
of
It takes like 10
somebody,
years. Yeah, it takes like 10 years to get to the point where you can harvest
right? Have
it.
you ever heard of anybody having peyote on the street?
That's why I told myself if I find it, like I'm gonna buy it. It was like $150 for one trip's worth.
Wow,
But
that's cool
dude,
though. I mean,
I'll send you a picture of it after on Snap.
yeah, I still have that 2CB.
Nice.
Yeah, I never
That's one of my favorite substances ever. I finally got a
maybe
little
cut
bit of a
that.
restock.
We'll have a little conversation about it,
Yeah,
but
yeah. But anyways, the description of it was this is a Indonesian landrace that the visuals are very like Indian art motif inspired. And
yeah.
so the other day we ate like, I think I had 2.5 grams because it was tested to be like 1.75 as potent as normal. So like the 2.5 grams was equal to an eighth trip. And I didn't have any really open eye visuals, but when I closed it, it was like very like Indian art visuals. And I was like, how much of that was placebo effect because I read the fucking description, and if I didn't beforehand, I would have not seen that, or how
Yeah.
much of that was actually from the mushrooms? I
Like you
don't know.
tapped into some sort of,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know, but like as
No,
a
I
scientist, I try to like be objective and be like, nah, that's placebo. But then as the psychonaut, there's always like, yeah, there's something out there that we don't know about.
oh, for sure. I mean, that's why I have a lot of sacred geometry like tattooed on me because when I went through my like heavy psychedelic phase, and really that was like the biggest moment of learning about myself. Like that's when I grew to be confident and understand like I actually have a shot at doing whatever the fuck I wanted and all these different things, right? Um, I so when I would trip, like I don't know, I would see a lot of the same things, right? So for example, like I would like meditate and like I'd see a lot of like the same pet flower, but just the basic flower of life, right? See that all the fucking time. I remember um RIP Savannah, fucking she just died a couple months ago. I'd be sitting in this girl's trailer, tripping nuts, and like the entire fucking wall, like it would go around the windows in different things, like almost like and I'm sure you've seen like the DMT trip with the laser when I like you can see like the
Hmm.
fabric of reality and shit. Like it was like that. It was like in the matter. It wasn't like the places like in the windows wasn't there, like in like different weird ways. And like I don't know, there's a million different ways you could probably explain that, but I would see a lot of the same pattern, like insane geometric, like just beautiful masterpieces of I don't even know, you know what I mean? Like rip
Right.
me down a wormhole eventually. Like I don't know. I always get like fucking hype and don't even know what to like really or how to even process my experience with psychedelics because there's no words for it, right? Like,
So I'm reading a book right now by Michael Pollan. It's How to Change Your Mind, and it's all about psychedelics. And there's a quote in there that really describes it well. And it was like, if you take a caveman and transport them to Manhattan current day time, they would not have the language to describe skyscraper or cell phone. And that's kind
right.
of like what we are with psychedelics. It's
Yeah.
like there's some things that just there's not adequate English language for, and
Yeah.
we
a
don't
hundred
have
percent.
the words to describe those yet.
And I feel like, I don't know, the things I want to say are a lot of cliches,
Yeah,
like just different things. Like, I don't know, like you explain certain things you've seen while tripping to a person that isn't open to psychedelic experiences. It's like,
yeah, good luck. You're talking
yeah,
to a
yeah,
wall.
right.
They think you're crazy.
One time I took a lot of fucking acid, like a lot, like over 1,000 micrograms. And I literally, I thought I was a slug at one point. Like I was completely out of body. Like I couldn't fucking see, you know what I mean? For one, like it just, I don't remember if I had my eyes closed or my eyes open. I think it was dark because you know, if you go into the night now, it's like 4 a.m. Everybody's going to sleep. So like there's like lights off and like it was at Ian's at the studio.
Hmm.
So it was like a bunch of people sleeping on the couches and different things. And uh, yeah, I don't remember if I had my eyes open or closed, but I couldn't see. Everything's black. And like, I started thinking about like eyes and like how your eyes, right? It's just like your pupil is a hole. Pupil isn't like a thing in the middle of your eye, it's a hole
Hmm.
that allows the light in. You know what I mean? And then your brain like takes that fucking information from the light, processes it, and creates an image. And that, whatever, for whatever reason, freaked me out, dude. I was like, I don't, it just sent me in a weird spot. So then I started picturing, like, I'm like, okay, so we're really just like these meat sacks, these weird looking, like, to an alien species out there, we look weird as fuck. Like, we're
Yeah, yeah.
weird, hairless, fucking, like, what are we, so we're these meat sacks with holes in our faces that allows us to see. And what I pictured at that moment was like this slug that just had two holes on the top of it, and that's what it was, and that was like it, and it just made me feel so like small. Like it was like, no, like I'm not like this big creature. No, I'm just like this slug sack of meat with two holes in it that's like processing light into an image. Like it's not
Jeez.
like, what even is that? Like I freaked me the fuck out. And so when I pictured that slug for like a split second and maybe like five, I thought I was a slug. And like I had to like, I was like, no, I'm like, that's not real, right? And just different shit like that. That sounds crazy. Like, what do you mean you thought you're a slug? Like, but
It does, but like, so I've never done that dose of acid, but as someone that's done like 250, 300 micrograms, I can imagine at 1,000, that seems like
I
a completely rational thought.
I think it was over 1,000.
Usually
Uh,
it's like 100 per tab.
it was my girl. She's right out there. She can verify everything I'm saying. I
I
didn't
believe it.
sleep for like 4 days. Right.
Dude, I would have
I
just, I
had a
keep like
Xanax.
rescue benzos. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a Xanax problem back in the day. And I was like, never again. I'm touching a Xanax. I was looking for a Xanax,
Mm-hmm.
but like just so I could go to fucking sleep. And
Yep.
then obviously I'm a smoker, so I'm smoking weed. Every time I would smoke, I would like, I don't know, I'd start tripping again. And it was like this thing where, when you're tripping, you just can't get words out, right? Like
Oh, I hate that.
you
Yeah.
forget what you're saying. That was happening
Or
and
if you
happening.
thought loop and it just repeats.
That happened for weeks, dude. If I asked her right now, she might say like a year, to be honest. Um, it was I don't really know how bad it was. And then and we moved out here to Vegas. And then I just had like this really weird, I don't know, like it just put me in a really vulnerable place.
Mm-hmm.
And so my theory, right, like as far as afterlife goes, I think as humans, we definitely like want something to cling to, like whether or not God is real. I don't fucking know. I'm not, but like my idea of what I don't want to believe that you die and everything just goes black. Your consciousness is just gone, right? I don't want to believe that. So my theory was maybe like, because they said when you die, your brain flows with DMT,
Mm-hmm.
right? You die, your brain flows with DMT, and somehow that just like blasts your consciousness off into the
Dude, I hope
next
so.
step and
Because
gives you like that ascension, right?
if it was anything like my last DMT trip, man, that I remember, after I took the third hit, I was getting ready for a fourth one, and I didn't mean to cut you off, so I'll keep this
No,
one
you're good.
short.
You're good. You're good.
But I remember like trying to take a fourth hit, and because it was out of a pen, so I didn't know how strong it was, and I
Yeah.
couldn't. It was kind of like when you count down going into surgery, and then you just
Yeah. The
everything's black.
anesthesia.
Yeah, so it was like everything was black, and then it was just the most beautiful, undescribable like color patterns everywhere. I
Uh,
tried to open my eyes and those same colors were there. Like I could see a little bit of my hands, but then there was like tracers on steroids. So it was like 50 million of my hands, almost like when you win solitaire on your computer and the
yeah.
deck's
Yeah. And
going
all the
everywhere.
cards go all
Yeah.
over.
So I was
Yeah.
like, fuck that, shut my eyes again. And then I remember just telling myself, like, okay, I just killed myself. But if that's what happened, I'm okay with that because this is so fucking beautiful. And
Yeah.
then it was like 2 or 3 minutes after that, I woke back up and I was almost depressed. I was like, I want to go back. That
Yeah.
was like no sense of body or self, but just like colors and beauty. So if that's what death is, then like fucking I'm all right with that.
Yeah. No, for sure. So,
Have you ever done DMT?
well, yeah.
Okay.
I've, so, that,
Yep.
that is me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Remember, yeah, you commented on they put
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the numbers or whatever, the letters.
Yeah. So sorry. What were you gonna say?
Um, no, yeah, DMT is fucking wild. I mean, honestly, I don't love DMT. So I have it tattooed on me, and my thought process there was like, because that's when we thought that's what makes you dream, right? So I was like,
Okay.
oh, chasing my dream. I've done DMT, I've
Mm-hmm.
sold it, whatever, blah blah blah. Uh, so like I don't know, whatever corny as far as the tattoo goes. My experiences with it, it gives me a headache. Like there, it's like two like
Interesting.
right here, like fucking hurts. Like
I
it's
don't
like and the
remember.
smell, bro. Like
Oh, it's
it's
horrible.
smell like burnt rubber, and that
Yeah.
itself
Nike
gives me
shoebox.
yeah, that itself gives me a headache too. So I don't know if it's that or what, because I smoked it out of a pen before too. When I lived in New York years and years ago. I don't really think I smoked much of it to like get too much of an
See,
effect,
that's
but it's
that's
just
nice about this place in Ann Arbor is they've got tested, but they also have pen and freebase. So I picked up both. I've only tried it out of the pen that one time. I
where is
need to.
it in Ann Arbor?
They got a couple shops after that. I don't want to blow them up on this. So I mean, there's a subreddit you can find it pretty easy, but I'll let you know after this. But there's a couple shops that have it because it's completely decrim down there.
Yeah,
So um, it's lab tested and they've got a really good stock of it. I actually know one of the chemists that supplies them, so that's why I felt like comfortable buying from this place.
yeah,
But I'm excited to try the freebase. I need to pick up another Boehner for my e-nail because I don't want to trash the one that I have. Um, and then I think freebase is probably the way to do it because then you can just measure out your 20 to 50 milligrams, do
yeah,
your 3 hits, and then blast off. I wasn't able to blast off from the vape. I mean, I only tried it that one time, but it was definitely only the waiting room. Like, didn't see any crazy entities or anything insane like that. It was just beautiful colors and geometry and stuff like
yeah.
that. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to try the powder because I think then you can blast off a little bit easier and probably get to that depth of where I want to go.
Yeah. So that's what I usually would get. I have a buddy that I mean I doubt he still does. This was years and years ago again. Ian knows him as well. He makes it whatever. It's just like yeah, like a powder. I don't know really
Hmm.
what forms there are. Obviously in the cart,
Yep.
and then is that just
As far as I know, yeah, just carton powder.
yeah. And fucking what was I gonna say? Um, shit, I don't remember. But it's absolutely crazy that they're selling it in fucking stores now. I remember like at a point it was like psychedelics were the most illegal drug, right?
Hmm.
But you won't see them selling like I mean, I guess the pharmaceutical company does. I was gonna say like heroin, or cocaine. Like that's what schedule
No,
is cocaine.
I think Schedule 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Schedule 2 because I know some eye doctors use it, but like these shops, they've got like mushroom fruits, so like the just regular dried mushrooms. They've got like chocolate bars, microdose caps, uh, DMT. Some of them carry the peyote. They had like the actual growing cactus, but those, like I said, take like 10 years to get to maturity.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's like they decrimmed all or decriminalized all ethanogens. So I've seen a couple shops carry Molly at some point, but they were sold out quick and didn't
Wow.
restock it. So I don't know if that's even technically allowed or not.
Yeah, what exactly did they decrim? Like, what does it say specifically?
I gotta download the bill to be honest, because I was looking into maybe supplying some of these stores because it's lucrative right now and there's no one hiring in cannabis. So, DMT extraction is very easy chemistry.
Hmm.
Mescaline synthesis is very easy reaction, and there's a big debate right now going on if you should even be eating natural cactus because it. Some people, I me and my girl get into a big debate on it because she's on the conservation side. I'm on everyone should be able to try these. There's no sacred compound, but there is a argument to be made that these are the indigenous people's medicine, and that we shouldn't be eating cactus, kind of leave them grow in the wild. They take so, like I said, it takes so long to grow and they're rare.
Right. And if
So
they
there's a
that
big,
becomes a
yeah, there's a big
commercialized
push
thing.
for it to be kind of just like a very select few people can get access to this. And I don't necessarily, that rubs me a little wrong because it's like I didn't choose to be a white male when I was born. So I don't think that anyone should be able to be sectioned off from access based on their looks and whatnot. But on the other side, I understand the argument. And as a chemist, I see nothing wrong with synthetically derived. That molecule is the
Right.
same molecule that the plant makes. Just
Yeah.
because I made it in a beaker doesn't make any difference. Now,
Yeah.
entourage effect is a thing, but we haven't established that to be a big factor as far as I've seen in mescaline. So, or sorry, in peyote. So I don't know. I mean, I've been kind of exploring what it would look like to be supplying some of these shops. I've tried growing mushrooms before and it was a miserable failure. So I don't know if I would get
Yeah.
into that. And they've got plenty of good suppliers out there right now. But I think some of these more obscure compounds might be fun to bring to market and kind of help. I think there's a lot of good that comes with psychedelics, but
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's clearly not anything people are going to be abusing.
right,
And
that's
the fact that, again, that's why I brought up cocaine and like heroin, but I mean, they do have the hydroxy shit, the gas station heroin shit. So, similar, whatever. But there's clearly a recognition of the difference between, even though the schedule, because what schedule are psychedelics? They're all schedule one, right?
one, I think, yeah,
Yeah.
one.
Like they're, were like the most punishable drugs. I think it was DMT was like the thing. At least when I was a kid, that's what we thought. Like DMT and acid was like the worst thing that you could get
Hmm.
caught with or whatever, right? But them doing that, a lot of these cities doing that, decriminalizing the psychedelics is kind of like the cannabis thing, where there's a clear recognition of the difference between hard drugs and psychedelics, and like how they can be beneficial medicinally and um, I did so many different fucking ways. I honestly 100% would not be the person I am without psychedelics. I
Oh, same.
don't believe it at all. I wouldn't be as confident as I don't know, successful in all the ways that I am, right? Like I wouldn't have anything. Like I feel like I don't know.
Right. No,
Probably
no.
could have found it a million different ways, right? But like it helped me, I don't know, just see the little things, all the cliches in life that they
Yep.
tell you, or that you hear, like, people's opinions don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter where you come from. You can go do anything. Like, practice makes perfect. Like, that was something that clicked on psychedelics. Like, you can literally do anything. The only difference between you and an NBA player, besides height, and different, like, obviously there's some variances to this, right? But it's practice. You know what I mean? Is they dedicated a fucking life to this thing. If you could spend every single day learning something and doing it every single day, day in and day out, you're gonna get really good at it. Like obviously, right? So that I put that together. So I was like, okay, I can practice anything enough and get really good at it. And also people's opinions don't matter. I'm gonna be a rapper. Like that was,
I like that, dude.
that was the thing, right? And obviously I've expanded way past that, but it's like, I don't know, like there's nothing with psychedelics, like there's not, I guess maybe with psychosis
I'll
issues.
just say, yeah, you got to be some people, like if you're prone to schizophrenia or psychotic breaks,
Hmm.
a lot of people push the set and setting, I think, a little too far, where they're like, if you're depressed, don't take it. I've certainly taken psychedelics at my lowest points to try and help with depression, and it was fine. It helped. I think the
Setting, I think, is more,
I think people over romanticize in a bad way, maybe the notion of a bad trip. I've never had a trip that really went cliche bad. If anything, there's uncomfortable moments, but you learn and grow from those.
yeah,
And nowadays, it's like I don't get anxiety. Like I can work my way through it, but I certainly see like it's there. It's not for everyone, and unlike cannabis, where a THC vape pen would last me a day, that DMT vape pen is probably going to last me 10 years. So it's
Yeah,
not like
right.
something that you're doing all the time. Even microdosing, I don't think is great to be doing like for more than a couple months at a time. So like, because you're gonna get sensitized to it and you're gonna build a tolerance to where it's not doing anything. But so like, I don't know how much business there's gonna be really built off of it. Because like, I mean, I maybe eat mushrooms once or twice a year. Like,
Right.
it's occasionally, and it's only when I feel like out of the blue, like here's one of those cliche, like the mushrooms call me, or like I feel
Yeah.
compelled to. It's not like, okay, it's New Year's Eve, let's eat mushrooms to get fucked up for the ball drop and something like that. Like there was a time and place many years ago when I did use psychedelics to party, but I think that's where you do get the kind of those bad trips, and they'll almost kind of teach you like, yo, this is something to respect, and if you
Bro.
disrespect the medicine, dude, it'll fuck you up.
Yeah, no, I've had a couple of those for sure. I think that's definitely the biggest thing, right? I always remember. You remember?
Yes.
I think it was like a year. Dude, if you're somehow seeing this, this
Yes.
is fucked up, right? So
Well, I'll blur
he,
his name, beep his name out, but bigger guy, but redhead with a
yeah,
beard.
yeah, yep.
Yes.
So he had thrown. His parents were like out of town or something like that. He threw a party when we were in high school. Me and the girl I was dating at the time, we took gel tabs and decided to go to this party. And people were just so fucking disrespectful. It like broke my heart. How people were just like being fucked up. They were like ripping. Somebody ripped one of the doors off the hinges, like going down to the stairs.
Hmm.
We're in this like back room in the basement, and this girl literally like ripped down it. There's like a TV sitting, like it wasn't plugged in or anything. It was like on some boxes. She ripped it off the thing and stomped on it, right? Just TV, like they're
I'd be
busting out
so
the ceiling
pissed.
tiles and in the basement, like there's a house plant that just was non-existent anymore, like a big ass, I don't, you can't
Fuck
really see
that,
it, but a
dude.
big ass house plant. Like I was tripping balls, bro, and just watching these people fuck this dude's house up. And I don't know, I felt so bad, but like same thing, right? Like that's what I get for
Hmm.
taking medicine and using it as a party drug to go.
Yeah.
Like it just
Well,
was not a
dude,
good
did you
experience.
ever come to any of the parties that I had at that Blue House in Pinckney when Jake and John lived with me?
I know I came over a couple times,
Yeah, we had
but I don't.
one where, dude, people were parking because I was on MX, like the main road, and people were parking all the way down to the middle school. There was a
Oh
line
yeah,
of cars, and
yeah.
there was maybe 100 people at my house. I was so glad no one fucked with anything. But
Mm.
and I'll have to remember. I see a Mark clip thing. I'm gonna learn Riverside here to see what this does. But I'm gonna remember to blur this name out. Fucking, I got a video on my saved on my Snapchat still to this day of on 5 tabs of acid, I think it was, on my roof, thinking he could fly, and
Oh
we
no.
tried to talk him down, and he was like, nah, 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 I can fly. So I was like, all right, if you can fly, fucking show me. I got 1%. My phone's gonna die. Jump, pussy. He fucking
No.
jumped, flapped his arms once in the air, hit the deck, and it wasn't a fall like super far because he's a big dude. So he was sitting
Yes.
down. It was
What
maybe
was it,
like
like
five,
four
six
feet?
feet.
Okay,
Yeah, five,
okay.
6 feet. It wasn't much. But like when he hit the ground, his legs went completely jello because he was so fucked up on the acid. Then he
Yeah.
kneed himself in the face, knocked himself out cold, and he was fucking out for like a minute. And
Just
we're all
torn.
tripping too. So we're like, oh great, now we got to fucking handle this.
Yeah, right, dude. That's
It was all
fucked
fine in the
up.
end, but dude, like I was so glad no one got hurt, nothing got broken, nothing got stolen. Like people were at least respectful at that fucking party.
Yeah.
But dude, those were
People
some
are fucked up.
crazy times back then.
You remember Aaron and Elijah?
Dude, I was just thinking about those people the other day. They were
Yeah.
my very first business partners when I had the e-cig company. They did all my website and graphic and like label work and stuff like that.
uh
Dude, I haven't heard that name in forever.
One time at their house, it was when I was uh, doing like a lot of shows and shit. I would go over there all the time. I think I met them through
Yeah,
you or John or
probably.
something like that. Yeah. And so they invited me and same girl. from the last story over, and they just had acid or something. I don't remember like really the circumstances, but somebody had acid. I get there within 15 minutes of me being there. I'd take the acid. Right, this shit hits me fast as fuck. I don't know if it was like because I hadn't eaten or like whatever the situation was. Right, strong as fuck. I was tripping balls. Right, we get like a couple hours into the trip. They had people that were coming over. Right, so like somebody was driving from Indiana and they drove to Chicago to pick up their other friend to come there. And at some point in the night, they were going to be getting there, right? So like a few hours rolls by, really in the trip. They remember their house, how they had like the floor couch?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're on the floor couch, right? Tripping out of our fucking minds, right? Like nobody's even talking, like we're fucked up. And they're you know headlights pulling the driveway. We're like, oh, they're here, right? Um, they opened the fucking door and they had this little bulldog, and it was like one of them, bro. Like just in complete,
Oh
just runs
no.
in there, and we were on the floor because the floor couch, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
jumping on us. It started humping the old
Oh
girl,
no.
and I'm not even gonna say her name. She's like Voldemort. But right, so the dog's humping the girl, and like, dude, the vibe just like completely switched, right? They let the dog out or put it in a room. I don't even know what they did with it. And they give them acid. It's both their first time taking acid, right? Long story short, old girl has a psychedelic break. Like she's like freaking out. She was like looking out the window, talking about like, oh, that house is my friend, and like just saying like really like
Oh no.
crazy shit, and like not like being funny and silly,
Right.
right? Uh, like really like losing her shit. And she kept saying, I want to go outside. I want to go outside. And now it's probably and it's Sunday, right? So Sunday morning, probably at like 6 a.m. Right? Just the sun just starts getting up, or coming up, right? People are walking their dogs.
Mm.
People are getting up for church. So like all the neighbors are out. I want to go outside. She's like freaking out. Starts running at Elijah, like full on hitting him, fucking like fuck you, like I hate
Oh
you, I'm gonna
no.
kill you, all this different shit, right? The dude that she came with that brought her, they didn't even know each other, right? But he had just gone and picked her up and brought
Mm-hmm.
her there, right? And she was no, he was like off in the fucking I don't even know where she was or where he was, but she was freaking out. He comes out of fucking nowhere. He's like, no, like I'll take her outside, right? And for whatever reason, we're like, oh, like Jesus just came. Like he's gonna take care of it. It's all good. He doesn't even know the girl, right?
Oh no.
They go outside. We're tripping. Everybody is tripping balls, right? So we are in our own world again. Like an hour, we have no idea how long goes by. CJ was his name.
Mm-hmm.
Walks in the room. He's by himself. He never went outside with her. He was in the fucking he let her outside and maybe came right back in. And nobody fucking noticed. He was in the room the whole time. Girl is gone. Right? So she is like missing. Right? Like nobody can find her. She's not in the house. She's
Oh
not in the
no.
yard. She was losing her fucking shit. Like was literally hitting Elijah. Like I said, just saying crazy ass shit. Uh so we're like and she kept talking about the water. Remember how what lake is that right there?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name though.
Is it Rush Lake?
I think so, yeah. Because it's right
Um,
by Pettysville.
yeah, so there's like that little beach right there. She kept saying, I want to go to the water. I want to go. And that was part of her outside thing, right? And we're like, oh, fuck. So like everybody like had to, and we're again, tripping balls. And we all had to like split up. Like we're walking through the neighborhood and like we go down to the beach. She's not there. Like literally genuinely looking in the water to make sure she didn't like drown. You know what I mean? While we're all tripping balls in this state of mind, it's just
Jeez.
so intense and freaky. Finally, I remember just because I was a degenerate that I had a police scanner on my phone. So I went on the police scanner and we're all huddled up in Aaron and Elijah's room. And like we're like throwing up, like everybody's stressed out, freaking
Oh
out.
no.
We're calling John Dockett, right, to
Mm-hmm.
fucking because he would like had a connection with the fire department or whatever. Like we were just trying to get some, and none of us could drive. We needed somebody to fucking help us. And we're listening to the police scanner, and all of a sudden we hear, "Hey, we have a naked girl knocking on somebody's door," and we're like, "Oh no!" And then they said the address, and like it was like one of those like the street next, right
That's
next door,
not good.
right? So she is naked knocking on these people's fucking door. We literally like we're listening to the whole thing now. Now we're like really, oh fuck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Have all your worst thoughts. Uh we hear them making contact with her. They're like, hey, like not them making contact, but they were like making calls over the radio. We would hear her in the background, like
Oh
yelling at them, like, no, don't
no.
touch me, don't touch me,
Yeah.
like saying all sorts of shit, right? And then like they said that they were taking her to St. Joe's in Brighton. They ended up like getting her in the ambulance, like because we're
Mm-hmm.
obviously we can't. It's not like a live feed. We're just listening to
Right.
what they're telling the other people over the radio, right? And they're gonna take her to St. Joe's, and then they like rerouted and took her to U of M. And then like it was just waiting. Oh, and I didn't even fucking tell you this part. So in the middle of all that, right? CJ, this other guy that left her, he's outside with a samurai sword like this, right? Sunday morning in fucking Pinckney, like he's a black dude with dreads, like
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
good, right?
That's
Uh,
horrible.
we're all like freaking out again this morning. We're outside. He gets in the car, his car. He's like, I'm leaving. So I'm going home. And we're like, no, like you're not going
Yeah,
anywhere,
no.
bro. Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
fucked up too. Like you're like losing your
Yeah,
mind.
chill inside.
He gets in his car, is like parked in their yard, and Aaron is standing in front of him, like no, like, and he fucking vroom, just like basically almost ran her over if she didn't get out of the way. Takes off. So right, fast forward after we hear old girl. Nobody. He's not answering his phone. CJ's just gone. He just left. Old girl's gone. No idea where the fuck anybody's at, what they're doing. I don't know. We heard an old girl on the radio, right? And then CJ's mom called Elijah and left a voicemail and was like, CJ's in the hospital, like all this different shit, bro. So we're like, bro,
What the
what the
fuck?
fuck just happened with these
Yeah,
people,
see,
right?
some people shouldn't take
And
acid,
that's so long story short, and that was a long story anyways, but yeah, some people aren't
but
built
it's like
for it. Like it hits
how do you
them
know
different. It
that
does.
you're that person or not until you try it?
Hmm.
So maybe it's like start slow and low dose, like half tab to start, but even then,
Something like that. Or
it's
just having a trip sitter, because like
that too. Yeah, have a good trip sitter.
somebody in their right mind would not have let her go outside with that dude. Like there was no
Right.
reason for that to be happening, right? Uh, and I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot that could have been prevented maybe with like a different setting. I think they were drinking before, like on the way
Yeah, that's a big
driving
thing
there. You know
too.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was
You got
just
to be smart with it, man.
they're like
Got to be
thinking, oh, I'm
smart.
just gonna take this acid now. Like, oh, with my cool friends, like it's just some acid, right? No, you
No,
just
that's a
lost the fuck.
12-hour fucking journey.
Yeah. So she ended up calling one of them from somebody's phone in from U of M, and they went and picked her up and whatever, right? But
That
yeah, like
blows.
that I think is would be the biggest issue with psychedelic
Hmm.
fucking thing. And another thing, when high school, I'm not gonna say any names here, but you probably know both of them. Sold some girl some some acid. This is a long time ago. I don't do any of that shit anymore. Uh, she took it, and then like, she would like hit me up a couple days later, freaking out. What did you give me? What did you give me? Because her friend, bleep her name out.
Okay.
Do you remember her? You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I sold it to her, and then this something, but she was like an innocent ass girl, like
Okay.
you know what I mean. She same thing, like hit me up and was like yeah, freaked out and ran through a like a they had like an open house, you know, showing in like a neighborhood, and she ran through the fucking house naked. Same thing. Like I don't know why, and that's a
What's with
common
these people
thing.
taking their fucking clothes off,
That's a
dude? I've
common
never
thing.
once got naked on acid.
Who was the guy that had that big fundraiser that was like um on bath salts like in LA or something. He was naked jumping on people's car.
That was my old neighbor. If I gotta get this Mark Clip thing so I remember. That was he took it was Crown. I remember it because here's another name I gotta so
I'm talking about some is this person
yeah, yeah.
famous. You're talking about someone from high school though?
Oh, I thought you were talking about this from high school. The
And
dude that
Drew,
ran butt naked on the football field and then took a nap under
he
the
was
bleachers.
he was like, oh, I don't know. I heard about a kid he took his pants down and was eating dirt.
That was probably the same incident.
Yeah.
But no, he that was bath salts. I don't know what it actually was, but it was Crown was the name of it because I remember had it and every fucking like Friday, we had first hour gym class together, and he would bring in a fifth of Seagrams, and he would drink like the whole fifth of 7 and 7 before fucking gym class.
Damn,
And
I
one day
never
he
knew that
brought,
about him.
yeah, one day he brought in a vape cart of Crown, and that was like the K2 Spice days,
Are you talking about
and he
Cloud?
it
Or is
was
it called
called
Crown?
Crown.
Okay, because I know exactly what you're talking about, but
There
when
was a
we had it, it
couple
was called
different
Cloud.
ones. Yeah, there was a couple
Cloud Nine.
different ones. Yeah, and because the BP in town sold them, and we smoked it before first hour gym class. He freaked out when we got into the gym because like the floor was super waxy. So the lights when it shined down, like you know how it shines the lights, like you can it reflects off the gym floor.
Yeah, yeah.
He thought it was the Star of David, and he thought that he was going Jewish, and that so he freaked out. So this dude was little, and we were able to put him in one of the bigger of the like lockers in the gym, and we're like, sorry, dude, we gotta lock you in here because you're gonna rat us out, or like you're gonna obviously like get us in trouble. You're freaking the fuck out right now. And he had the wherewithal. He's like, okay, I understand. This is for my own good. It's a little cramped in here, but I'll be quiet. And that's what he
Yeah.
told us. He's like, I understand it's for my own good. So he was cool with us locking him in there so that we didn't get in trouble. We had dodgeball that day, and I remember the dodgeballs coming at me were like planets. And I was just like trying to not laugh and lose my shit.
Mhm.
And it was fine, like wore off in like 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But went back in, let out of the locker, and never fucking touched Crown or the
Wow.
K2 Spice
And
shit
so you
again.
put Jay in
But
the locker, bro.
dude, he was gonna get us in trouble, dude. So we had to lock him up. And he was like, dude, okay, I understand. It's for our own good. I'll take one for the team. I can't control my shit right now. But he gave that to that kid, and yeah, he was found napping ass naked underneath the bleachers of the football field after running
That's
around.
crazy.
I don't know why some people just want to strip down and run on psychedelics.
Yeah, I
I've
don't
never
know what it is. I mean,
met,
maybe I've heard people talk about it on people freaking out on like meth or like bath salts or like those types of things. They always say that they felt hot.
maybe.
Oh, that's why they take off their clothes, and it does raise their
Yeah,
body temperature a lot.
maybe.
And you're just not in your right mind. You're just
I
basically like a
guess.
primal thing. You know what I mean? The only thing you're gonna think is breathe and I
Yeah.
don't know, like survive, right? When you're in that state. And
Yeah.
I
I don't
don't know.
know. You got to be careful. But yeah, dude, that's some crazy shit. Definitely some higher thoughts.
Yeah, definitely some
And we
higher thoughts.
played
I'm
into
stoned as
the
shit.
episode name, so
Yeah.
it's been an hour and 50. Almost. Let's say we wrap this one up.
Yeah, bro. This was great. Thank you for
Dude,
having me.
this
I'm
was
happy
perfect.
to be your first episode. Hopefully we touched on some interesting topics, which I
Of
think we
course.
did. Um
Uh,
that's just like our normal conversations. That's what
yeah,
I love about you, dude.
of
You're
course,
great.
dude.
You're always awesome to talk to.
Well, that's why, like, when I was thinking about people to have on, I wanted to reach out to like people that I knew and that it would be kind of like a friend having just a normal convo,
Yeah,
because it is kind of like the Joe Rogan, where yes, sure, he has tons of people that he doesn't know on, but there's also a lot of just comedians and people that he knows, and just through the normal conversations, good little sound bites or clips come out, or stories like that we had here towards the end,
yeah,
and we were able to bounce around. So I knew that it was going to be good, and that I could rely on you for asking some good questions, because we were always kind of nerd out on some stuff. So
yeah.
we'll definitely have to do this again sometime soon. And I
Yes, sir.
appreciate all the advice, man.
Yes, sir.